It's time to take your seat in the front row with Mike Vaccaro. Here's your host, Mike Vaccaro.
Thank you, Chuck, and welcome, everybody. It's episode number 13 in the front row with Mike Vaccaro. I am your host. Behind the scenes, as always, it's JR Quitman, our creator, producer, and director. Coming up on this 13th episode, it is mixed martial arts. Our middleweight contender number 4 from UFC, Derek Brunson, is our guest. He talks about his journey over 10 years on the UFC level. He also has the big fight coming up February 12th, and also a chance maybe at the title coming up this summer as well. And maybe a boxing match against Jake Paul. He talks about that. Stay with us here. It's episode number 13 of In the Front Row with Mike Vaccaro, featuring Derek Brunson. First of all, man, I appreciate you joining us. I know you're right in the middle of training right now. You've got a big fight coming up in February, getting ready for that. So I appreciate you taking a little time out of that schedule to join us here today. And we really want to learn about you as you get ready for that fight and get ready for what we're hoping for you, some big things in the middleweight level for UFC. So first of all, you're from Wilmington. You grew up in Wilmington. You still live there now. Tell us what life was like for you growing up in Wilmington, and what sports were you playing at that time growing up?
So when it came to sports, I dabbled in a little bit of everything. Most of my young age, I did cheerleading, which a lot of people wouldn't expect. Then I played football, wrestling, track. So, yeah, I did a little bit of everything. And just growing up in Wilmington, North Carolina has been, pleasant. I grew up in a low-income family. We grew up on the north side of town, and been here all my life. I travel a lot, but I always find myself back at home just because, it's the place that I've grown to know, and it's a happy medium for me.
When you're around town and you see other kids maybe from that same neighborhood that you grew up in, does that give you a chance to talk to them and give them, some hope that, hey, I'm doing this, you can do this as well?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The thing with being an athlete and being a person of note or a celebrity is just giving back. You can't just take. So at some point you have to give back and inspire the youth. You have a lot of people that look up to you. So just being that figure and role model for the youth.
Let's talk about the cheerleading. Obviously, it was competitive cheerleading for you. What drew you to that, to competitive cheerleading, as well as the other sports that you mentioned?
Well, so I started the competitive cheerleading at an early age. My older cousins ran into some girls at school, and they were like, hey, I seen you doing flips and stuff. You should try out for our cheerleading team. We need some guys that can flip. So the older cousin joined the team, and me and the younger brothers, we were tumbling and stuff like that. So we kind of came up under them, and one day it was like, hey, why don't you come in and try out? So we tried out, and it was, love at first sight, I would say. We were like 8th grade, 9th grade boys hanging out with a whole bunch of girls 24/7. So that was fun for us and, really enjoyable.
The flips and everything, does that pay dividends now in your MMA career?
Oh, yeah. From tumbling flips, you have to have a strong core. You definitely develop a strong core, and tossing girls up in the air, which is called stunning. It makes your upper body big. So going into another sport, you automatically have pretty good core strength and upper body strength, and it translates well because most sports are predicated off having good upper body strength and mobility and stuff like that. So it goes hand in hand, and flexibility and being able to scramble when it comes to wrestling and MMA and other things. Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned wrestling there. You kind of gravitated to that as well as you wrestled in high school at Hoggard High School, a school that's kind of known maybe more for some other sports, put out some NFL players at Hoggard High School. But, why wrestling? What led you to wrestling and the love of that sport as well?
Yeah, it was funny enough, man. I wrestled only 1 year my senior year, and it was a sport like none other. It's just a grind 24/7, and just being dominant, and it's an individual sport, so you can't blame it on anyone else. So you got to go home, look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, I got to get better. So it's one of those sports that, you can't make any excuses. You got to always look back at yourself. So I was kind of drawn to that. I had some football scholarships and offers, but I signed my letter of intent to wrestle first, and I just stuck with that, and here we are today.
Yeah, you went to UNC Pembroke on the wrestling scholarship there, and you were an All-American, a Division II All-American as well. So only 1 year in high school, and then you became an All-American. I mean, what took you to that, that quickly going from 1 year to the next level?
Just hard work, That's always been my motto and how I do things in life, no matter what it is being a parent, real estate, training, MMA, anything that I do it like full fledged, So that's why I never got into alcohol and drugs, because I'm pretty sure if I did alcohol and drugs, I'd probably be like the biggest guy holding up my thumb on the side of the road. So, man, anything that I do, I make sure that I'm putting max effort and applying myself. So even if you start something late, if you really apply yourself, you can make up for that lost time.
So again, 3-time Division II All-American, 2003 to 2005. What do you remember most about that wrestling career at UNC Pembroke?
Oh, it was great. It's funny. I had Division I offers out of high school, and like I said, I signed the letter of intent with UNC Pembroke, so I had to honor that. But even after my freshman year, where I was All-American, I placed fourth in the country. I got offers from D1 schools, and I stayed at UNC Pembroke just because, I don't know. I guess I'm a loyal guy, and it's real comfortable for me. I got an education. I was just on the right path, and I enjoyed the university. But that was good for me, opposed to going to a big university. Like I said, I don't know. I go with more of, what's comfortable for me, what works for me. I'm working hard. I'm having a good time. And, at the end of the day, when you're thinking sports in college, the biggest thing is getting an education.
And you're close to home, I guess. Lumberton, North Carolina, not too far from Wilmington. Did that play into sticking around there and that loyalty as well to UNC Pembroke?
I wouldn't say that. I like being close to home, but, regardless, I'm always going to come back to home, for the holidays and stuff like that, to come visit the family. So that wasn't really the thing. It's just I just really felt comfortable at UNC Pembroke. I enjoyed my time there, and I think that was the perfect university for me at the time, even though I had bigger and better offers, quote unquote, that was on paper.
So what do you think of when you see these other guys in other sports, again, the college level, the transfer portal, and everybody trying to find that next level? And again, you go back to your loyalty. What do you think when you see some of those guys doing that?
Man, times have changed so much, I remember when, I guess, right before or 2002, when I graduated from high school, if you didn't go to, like, let's talk NFL, if you didn't go to like Miami or just one of the big Penn State or one of the big schools, then you were not going to get looked at for the NFL, or you weren't going to get that shot. Or if you didn't play at a big Division I school for basketball, you're not going to make it to the NBA. But it's not like that anymore. It's all individually based and how hard you work. You got people like Kawhi Leonard went to like San Diego State, and he was considered, one of the top 3 NBA players for the last, 3 or 4 seasons. So everything is making the most of wherever you're at, and that steady work.
Some good advice, again, as you're talking to young kids in the community. Let's talk now about your MMA career, and when did you kind of get that mindset, okay, after school, I've got to do something. This is maybe the next thing for me. When did you think that mixed martial arts was going to be what it was for you?
Well, I got bored a little bit after college, and I was working. I mean, I wasn't working out every day. I was working out here and there, but I really wanted to like get into something where I can like do on a daily basis. Just being a competitor, you always want to compete, always want that edge, always want to, do something that's competitively driven. So I got back into the gym. I was like, you know what? I didn't win a national title in college, placed fourth as a freshman, and I never got higher than fourth, and that was predicated off of not working hard, because I always worked hard and did what I was supposed to do, but I didn't do extra. So I was like, okay, if I did extra, then that's what it takes to be elite, like at the top of your game. All the guys who national champions, who are top in the world, these guys do extra. They do what they're supposed to do, and they do extra. So I was like, I really want to get back and apply that extraness into a sport. So I was pursuing like Olympic style wrestling, and I kind of fell into a gym where they had like a lot of former collegiate wrestlers, and I was the better wrestler of the group. So after that, the guys wanted to keep going, which was jiu-jitsu whenever they hit the ground. So I started learning jiu-jitsu, and then, the guys like, hey, man, you should take a fight. I was like, nah, I'm just, trying to wrestle. And soon after, I just kind of started taking boxing. And 2 months after that, I took my first amateur fight, had another fight after that, and 2 months after that, I went pro. So everything kind of happened fast. And like I said, just who I am, I just like to work hard. So things typically happen fast whenever you put a lot of work for it.
What is it about mixed martial arts? What attracts you to that? Because again, as you mentioned, boxing, wrestling, jujitsu, it's a lot of different disciplines within that. What attracted you to that?
Yeah, it's a mano a mano. May the best man win. You get you. It's a professional sport, so you can make money from it. Opposed to if you're just wrestling, there's really no money in wrestling. They have like Olympic style wrestling. You can make 40,000-50,000 dollars a year. Which is solid money. But being a professional athlete, you can make a lot more. So, and I make my own schedule, and I'm not on anybody else's time.
Yeah, some good stuff there. It's like owning your own business, what you're doing now. And we'll talk a little bit about that later on as well. But your MMA debut, 2010 versus John Bryant. What do you remember about that fight for you?
Yeah, I remember, it was my first big step. I had two amateur fights before that. This guy was like short and, really jacked. I was like, worst case scenario, we're going to get to the ground to my strength and we're going to do some work there. So that's what happened. I came out with a 1-2, threw a punch, threw a kick, and then I took the guy down, took his back and choked him. So, yeah, that was the start of my professional career.
MMA, other sports, obviously you're scouting your opponents and you're looking at video. Are you doing the same thing for MMA? How do you prepare for a fight and for your opponent to learn his tendencies and how you can, go to your strength, which is wrestling?
Yeah, for sure. You break guys down, watch film, try to find their weaknesses, try to find their strengths, and then plan according. You just don't look at a film and say, "Hey, the guy is weak here," and just go with that. You also look at his strengths too, so you'll know exactly what you're dealing with.
You're getting ready for a fight now. How much of a lead up do you have as far as working out, getting ready for a fight? How much are you putting into each fight that you have?
Yeah, I put a lot into it. I put a lot into my training. The last 2 years, I've been doing training camps down in South Florida at Sanford MMA. So pretty soon here, next week, I'll head down to South Florida and I have, 5 weeks down there training. Then I'll fight, then I'll come back home, And I normally go out there for like 2 weeks, come home, then go back and finish out, go to the fight, come home. So that's kind of been a routine for the past couple of years, and it's been really successful.
So again, 2010, your first fight, Strikeforce in 2011 to 2012. Tell me about that experience for you and how that was maybe the next step for you and your progress on the mixed martial arts level.
Yeah, my first fight in Strikeforce was a really tough guy. I was being told, "Hey, we're gonna get you in here, kind of give you some warm up fights," and I was 6-0 at the time, and the first guy I get was 9-0. I'm like, "Hey, where's the warm up?" So, guy was a pretty good striker. Very athletic. The guy was like a former college runner, so he had pretty good cardio and stuff like that. So it was an intense fight. I stuck to my strengths. I think I had like 13 takedowns. I was just sticking to what I know best.
And during that time too, you were wearing contact lenses, and then you got LASIK surgery. How do you go at MMA with contact lenses? That's got to be difficult.
Yeah, for sure. You definitely need your vision, and vision is important. So I went into a couple fights with contacts, and I got poked in the eye, or got caught in a scramble. My head hit their shoulder or something like that, and my contact popped out. So but I can see close up fine, but not far away. So it kind of wasn't the worst, but yeah, definitely. If a guy was standing across the cage, and it kind of helped though. I couldn't see the fans, or they were giving me middle fingers or whatever. So.
You were just focused on what was right in front of you. That's probably good in this business. Well, again, you did well, obviously, there. That led up to UFC. You make your debut. I saw you posted just the other day. Actually, yesterday was your debut, December 29th, 2012, UFC 155. Tell me about that because, again, it's got to be the pinnacle of where you want to be as an MMA fighter, and you got there, and now it's your 10-year anniversary of that moment.
Yeah, most guys want to get a warm up. Maybe like they have the Contender Show now. Maybe a smaller card, but I go to like Junior Dos Santos. Who was it? Junior Dos Santos and Cain Velasquez. That was number 2, the part 2, the fight. And I get on that card, and it's a huge card, and I'm actually on the pay-per-view. So, like, my first fight in the UFC, and I'm fighting a guy who's known for knocking people out, Chris Leben. So, yeah, it was definitely a crazy moment on a big card. You know, it's 30,000 people in the stands, you know, and Chris Leben was a fan favorite. So, yeah, it definitely was an interesting, intriguing fight.
And unanimous decision. You defeated him as well. So again, you get on that big card, and then you have that win as well. Did you feel like, okay, this is going well, and this is gonna, I'm gonna continue to progress here and move up in the chain?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I remember. Funny enough, it was at the MGM Grand in Vegas, and I was walking through with like three other teammates who were fighting on the card also. And one of the guys had been fighting in the UFC for a period of time, and he stopped in the affliction store and he bought some like $400 pair of jeans. I'm like, bro, like, what are you doing here? And I was like, I think I probably had like $300 in my bank account or something like that. And I was like, man, this guy's crazy. But yeah, and that was my first big fight. You know, I made 30,000 from there. And, you know, a guy from 300 in my bank account to 30,000 one check. I'm like, this is all mine. You know, so yeah, it was the start of something good, and definitely motivating to go out there and get a big win. And it was momentum going forward.
Yeah, certainly it worked out well. So from there, then 2014, a 4-fight contract, 2019, another 6-fight contract. So again, what were you thinking at that point? That, like you said, you start with $300, $30,000. Did you feel like, okay, things are going well here, and I'm continuing to do what I need to do to again develop and stay in the UFC?
Yeah, for sure. It just showed me all of my hard work, and what I've been doing was what I should have been doing, and it paid off, you know, to where I had a little bit of comfortable. I was a little comfortable, you know, so tripped up over that word. But yeah, I was able to train with a little piece, you know, so yeah, it worked out.
How does it work out with, somebody like Dana White? Does he talk to you and kind of tells you, where you're at and what you need to develop and what you need to do to continue to move up and be a contender on the middleweight level?
Nah, so Dana White doesn't do that to any fighter. Most of most most I would say 95% of people in the UFC has an agent or a manager. So they talk directly to the matchmakers of the UFC, and they discuss what's next and go from there. Um, yeah, that's pretty much how business is conducted with that.
When you have those fights, do you get to pick and choose kind of when you want to fight to give your body a chance to recover from each fight and then for you to get ready for the next one?
Yeah, you can say I mean, you don't really pick and choose so much, but if you're not ready, and they offer you a fight, you can tell them that, and then they'll go from there. You know, sometimes if you say, "Hey, I'm injured," they might ask for a doctor's note. You know, stuff like that. So, yeah, we really don't have an off season. You know, we got to kind of stay ready, be ready, and that's the name of the game.
Yeah, you've come in, you've won 5 consecutive fights now as well. Do you feel like, you're on top of your game and this is kind of the best you've felt on the MMA level?
Yeah, you know, I ran a 5-fight winning streak. I think I had a fight winning streak in the UFC before. But yeah, I feel like I'm making the right decisions and peaking at the right time. And yeah, now is the time. You know, I'm one step away from getting that title shot.
Yeah, you're 23-7 right now. Your last fight was September 4th. So you've had a little time to recover and get ready for the next one coming up in February. But tell me about that fight with Darren Till that, again, it seemed like you were controlling that pretty well. You got into the wrestling part of it. And once that happens, it seems like that becomes your match. Is that always the goal, to kind of get it to wrestling, get that, competitor down on the mat?
It depends, you know. It depends what the person is good at. You know, if I have a wrestler who's just as good as me, we might have a different approach there. We might want to strike a little bit more, you know. So it's all about matchups and, however, studying the guy, seeing where they're strong, seeing where they're weak at, and breaking them down. So yeah, that was the thing with Darren too. We just broke him down. Really good striker. I figure I had the grappling edge, and whenever it got to that, you know, it showed that I did have the grappling edge.
Yeah, you got him with the rear naked choke in the 3rd round. Tell me what that is. I watched the match, so I kind of have an idea, but tell us about the rear naked choke, and is that kind of a special move of yours? Because it's come up in a couple of matches of yours.
Yeah, that's when you take someone down, you take their back, and you sink in the choke. You know, so yeah, that's a That's a common thing, when it comes to MMA, you either ground and pound a guy or you catch a submission, and when you got a guy back, that's the two options. You can either start punching or you can look for a rear naked choke. And you have other submissions also, but those are the two most common things to do is a ground and pound or look for a rear naked choke.
Now, initially, you were supposed to fight in January, but they moved it back to February. What does that do for you? Is that a plus for you getting ready for your next match?
It didn't really matter so much in terms of getting ready because, when the fight time comes, I'm going to be ready. It was more so, more time at home with the kids for the holidays and the family and stuff like that. So that was the benefit of that.
Tell me about that, being home with the family. What do they think about what you do, for your living? Obviously, you're doing more than just the MMA. You've got your own business there, but, what are they supportive in what you're doing and enjoy what you're doing as well?
Yeah, for sure. They love it. They understand this competition. They know the highs and the lows of the sport. So yeah, they appreciate all and they see the hard work that I put in and the sports that they do. That's what I encourage them to do is work hard. And I'm not so big on wins and losses when it comes to stuff. It's about the effort because if you put forth the effort, then eventually the wins will come.
Do you keep them in mind as far as, again, how often you fight and obviously you want to protect your body so that you can spend time with them once you're done fighting? Do you keep them kind of on your mind with this?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's about definitely minimizing damage. MMA is a contact sport, a full contact sport. You can punch, kick, all that. So yeah, definitely is. It's definitely taking care of the brain, minimizing damage, doing what I'm supposed to do, being in shape cardio wise, making sure I hit all my training sessions, and that helps me reduce the damage. Just being smart overall.
What's a recovery like after a fight? Is there different things that you're doing with your body to help it bounce back after a fight?
Yeah, just resting, taking a little bit of time off from the gym, 1 to 2 weeks. It depends how banged up you are. Each fight is different. You could be really banged up or you come out with no bruises. So it all depends on that particular fight.
Well, let's talk about the next one here if we could. February 12th. It's Jared Cannonier is your competitor coming up here, UFC 271. So you're on the undercard of the middleweight champion for that one, right? So you're the number 4 contender. How important is this fight going to be for you to get that next step and get that title chance for you?
Yeah, it's important, Jared's number 3, I'm number 4, and you have number 1 and 2 going at it, So this right here cements my position to get that next title shot. So that's what we focus on right now is going out and getting the job done.
So this is kind of like a Final Four. Those that are familiar with basketball, this is maybe the Final Four, I guess, for you guys. Knowing that this is your chance here, do you train differently at all?
No, I just continue to do what I've been doing over the years. There's really no need to change anything up or do anything. Just keep breaking my opponents down, keep working hard, and yeah, that's that. I mean, I might add a week. I think I'm adding a week more to my training camp, but yeah, nothing too crazy.
Israel Adesanya is number 1. Robert Whitaker, those two going at it before or after you guys as well. Adesanya, he's the guy. He's number 1 right now. You fought him before. You're looking for a rematch. What would it take to take him out?
Yeah, just being more focused, more calculated. The last fight, I think in 2017, 18, that was the time we had the hurricane here and it flooded the whole town, So I went from that straight to the fight. So it messed up my training camp a little bit, but this sport is, you can't make any excuses, you got to go out there and fight. But I know just preparation wise is what I can add that to what I've been doing, or I know why I was a little off. And also I was training here at home, where I didn't have the bodies I need to get ready for those big fights. And ever since I've been to Florida, I've been on a winning streak. And Israel Adesanya was my last fight, here.
Well, let's talk about that for a second. I mean, again, you get ready and take on somebody like that, but it throws you off your routine a little bit. Does it help you maybe in a sense to, you lose, but then you have a chance to learn from that loss as well and to see maybe what you needed to do better? Is that what you're hoping if you have a chance at him for the title?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Sports, is wins and losses come with it, And I look at it like this. Whenever you compete, it's about collecting data, seeing where you need to prove, seeing where you're good at, and just kind of breaking it down. So that's what I look at, you know. And from that fight, I collect a lot of data in terms of the things that I can do differently, and I know I will do differently, and things to work on. And I feel like, you know, the results will be different.
Obviously, you got to win that first fight February 12th. If that happens, is there a date set? Do you know when, you know, a matchup might come for the championship?
I guess it'll be around summertime. So yeah, for sure. I got to handle the one in front of me, but yeah, we're focused on the title shot. You know, we gotta. That's obvious. I got to take care of the one in front of me. So I feel like that's a must. You know, if I don't, then hey, I'm not in a championship fight. But yeah, I know that's in front of me, and that's the focus. And yeah, preparing for that title fight.
Let's talk about, you know, how you get ready and the other people that get you ready. As you said, you go down to Florida, you do training there. Who do you have? Who are you? You know, how does it work for you to get ready for a fight?
Yeah, we have a big camp down there, man. We got about 30 UFC guys down there. We got top level coaches, Henry Hoof, Greg Jones, Cammy, Dr. Peacock. He's my strength and conditioning coach down there. So yeah, I have everything I need down there to get ready for a high level fight. My cardio will be up, my lungs will be pushed. I'll be battle tested, and when it comes fight time, it'll just be another fight.
So what are you doing at home in Wilmington at your facility there that's maybe different?
Yeah, so when I'm home, it's kind of like skills, just building my skills. When I go down there, it's like getting in shape and being ready to get in wars, so that when I get into a fight, I'm battle tested. But yeah, when I'm at home, it's a lot of drilling, a lot of technique, a lot of, you know, just drill repetition over and over and over again.
Let's talk about one of your toughest moments in the ring. I mean, again, you mentioned getting ready for Adesanya the first time there, getting ready with Hurricane Florence in Wilmington. Is that the toughest moment you've had in a fight in your career?
I wouldn't say toughest. I mean, all of my losses, I would say, are my toughest. You know, even I had a couple losses that I clearly won by um, everyone. You know, 90% of people. I lost two fights that 90% of people thought I won. But you know, that comes with it. A loss is a loss. A win is a win to me. You know, so um, yeah. I mean, that's that. You know, have to learn to deal with adversity and overcome it, and keep standing in the gym and keep working towards your goal.
Yeah, when you have, you know, a sport like MMA and there are decisions if you don't knock somebody out or technical knockout. I mean, do you go into a fight thinking, hey, it's got to be in my hands. I can't leave it in judges' hands.
No, I don't think of that. I feel like, you know, the judges got a job to do, so like they're forced to do their job that night. You know, that's what they signed up for. That's what they getting paid for. So I don't really worry about that. I go out there and do the best that I can. I always look to finish the fight, but if that doesn't occur, then I rely on the judges to do their job.
Overall, UFC is exploded. Obviously, is huge business. It's viewed by so many people. Are you surprised at all about the sport and how big it's gotten and how many people follow this sport?
No, yeah, UFC is huge. You know, one of the smartest business models. Um, kind of remind me of basketball. Basketball is a global sport in every country. I remember when it was just NBA was just, you know, they had the Olympics, but now like overseas basketball is big. Countries playing each other is big. You know, kind of like MMA. Like MMA is in every single country, whereas football is a U.S. sport. Um, and other sports are too. Soccer is another thing that's like a global sport. MMA is a global sport, and it has potential to be like one of the biggest sports, being that we're everywhere and everybody can participate. It like all you need is gloves and shin guards, or just you really don't even need that. You just need to you can practice anywhere pretty much.
So again, you're the number 4 contender. You know, in your mind, is that an accurate number for you? Do you think you know should be higher on the scale right there?
No, I really don't worry about higher or anything like that. I just worry about just getting that number one spot. That's my goal. That's my focus.
37 years old. Do you feel like, you know, if you're going to get there, it's got to be this go around? Do you think, in a sense, is this your last chance? These couple of fights maybe coming up here for you?
I wouldn't say last chance. I feel I can do it as long as I want to, but I would say, you know, um, I don't really have a lot more to prove to myself other than get a title shot. You know, I've been in the UFC. I've seen guys who are really good come to the UFC, get 3 or 4 fights, and then they're back in the regional circuit. Um, working a normal job, and I was able to do this for over a decade in the UFC. So um, I have nothing else to prove to myself but to get a title shot. So if yeah, this is my best shot at it, and this is the opportunity in front of me.
Like you said, 10 years. I mean, that's a long time in this sport, and then to be at the highest level. You posted, as I mentioned the other day, that it was your anniversary. Do you look back fondly at that, and again, say, hey, I survived this in a sense, this long, and I've been able to do this at a high level for this long.
Yeah, for sure. That's a brilliant thing. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of training, um, a little luck, staying healthy, just everything that comes with sports. To be able to have longevity that long, kind of like LeBron. LeBron's a guy who's 38 and he's performing well. He looks like young. He's dropping 30 points a night. But that's a testament in itself to stay healthy and have longevity for that period of time. And,
No,
it doesn't happen often.
yeah, as you said, you take care of your body. No, you don't do drugs, no alcohol, and it certainly has paid off dividends for you from that standpoint as well. So again, 37 years old. Have you thought about after your fighting career and what all you're doing? Obviously, you've got your gym in Wilmington as well, but have you thought what else maybe you might be doing after your fights are over?
Yeah, I dabble in well business wise. I mean, I have my gym. I have a fight promotion. I manage fighters. I do a little bit with real estate. So I have a lot of things going on. But I got my sons are 6 and 3, so I got a long road of sports watching them and like living through them and letting them have fun. I'm not gonna be the dad like just like down their throat, about winning and stuff like that. It's gonna be about effort. I'm more about effort, and eventually we'll get to where we want to get to. But yeah, I look forward to that.
If they say, "Dad, I want to go to UFC. I want to be an MMA fighter," what's your response to that?
I'll say you better be ready to work hard. I'm going to be on your butt every single day, So I'll support them. I'm not going to force them, but I definitely support them.
Let's talk about your gym, Brunson's MMA and Fitness in Wilmington, North Carolina. Folks watching this who maybe are in the area, and certainly it's a new year. People want to get in shape and do that. How can they get involved with your gym, and what are some of the things that they can find there?
Yeah, we're in the Independence Mall, Brunson's MMA and Fitness. We've been here for about four years. Yeah, we have a lot of classes. We have Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, kickboxing, wrestling. We're about to start females wrestling. We're about to start our youth wrestling program. We have MMA, cardio kickboxing. We have a little bit for everybody. We have class of people who want to be professional fighters, want to be amateur fighters, want to fight and see how far they can make it. We got people who want to get in shape. Like we have a little bit for everybody, the youth, for kids, anti-bullying, building their confidence, and just learning how to be leaders and protect themselves without bullying others.
Where did the business sense come from for you? Was that your major at UNC Pembroke?
No, I majored in criminal justice. It came kind of naturally, you know what I mean? Like I said, I like to, if I look into something, then I'm going to work hard in that area, and I'm really going to try to find out the most about it so that it's successful. I don't want to do something and it not be successful. It's things like I don't know. I have a hard time not being successful. Like sometimes it'd be like I shouldn't be doing this because it's not doing so well. But I'm like, okay, well let's make sure we make it do well. So I'm just one of those type of people.
And you mentioned the contracts and different things with the UFC. Were you paying a little bit more attention to that kind of stuff? And again, seeing how that business model worked to see how you can, relate that into your own business model of different things that you're doing as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Look, what better to learn on the job and like one of the top models, UFC have a brilliant business model. So there's some things that I can duplicate from there and learn from there. And even when it comes to managing fighters, I know how they think. So, I can kind of convey that to the younger generation or the guys coming up.
Let's talk about a couple of awards you got. You were recognized by your alma mater, UNC Pembroke, with the Young Alumnus of the Year, and also inducted into the Athletics Hall of Fame there as well. What did those honors mean to you?
Oh, it felt good. I put in a lot of work. I represented the university well, so they were honored to put me in the Hall of Fame and Young Alumnus Award. I believe I got like a couple years before that. So yeah, it definitely feels good getting those awards.
Yeah, 2014, the Young Alumnus. 2016 was the Hall of Fame. Um, for you, again, you're 23-7. You won 5 straight matches or fights here. Do you have a best moment so far in your career in the ring?
Probably my biggest fight when I went down to Brazil and fought the former UFC champion Lyoto Machida in his backyard, and I was able to knock him out in the first round. That probably was the biggest victory, and that was like catapult me to other things.
What was that like with, in his backyard, as you said, and all the fans there? Obviously, they weren't rooting for you. What was that like?
It was cool. I was respectful. I had a guy on the card, Kobe Covington, who was like causing chaos the whole time. So like they were like hating him and they was loving me. They was like, man, you're such a nice person. You can come to Brazil and fight any time. You beat our guy, but we still love you. So yeah, it was cool.
Can you be a nice person to be in the UFC? I mean, again, you have this persona now, the blonde Brunson. Do you have to play that up a little bit in UFC a little bit?
Oh yeah, I mean, you could joke around, be yourself, have fun. Yeah, that's it's the blonde Brunson vibes. But yeah, that's just me. I'm a jokey person. I like to have fun. I like making up words too when I say jokey. But yeah, I like to joke and just have a good time. So that's just me.
Do you relate it at all to like pro wrestling as far as the heels and the good guys? Is there one that you're trying to be? So again, it's I'm sure once you come to the fight, you're trying to get the crowd on your side for sure.
Oh no, I'm just being myself. I like to joke. I like to be silly. So I just be myself. I think that comes natural.
All right, well, let's talk about a big topic here. Jake Paul. You've called him out a couple of times on Twitter. Are you looking for a fight with Jake Paul at some point?
Well, he called me out first. That's how the whole thing got started. It's funny. He actually asked me to come train with him a while ago, and then he called me out. So like, for sure. Maybe after MMA when I'm out of my UFC contract, I like to box. I always wanted to box anyways, get a professional boxing. A lot of people assume that, oh, MMA fighters can't box or my boxing isn't so good. It's like I'm a smart guy. So it's like if I got the advantage grappling, I'm a grappler. You know what I mean? Why play 50-50 if I'm really better at something else, So, yeah, man, my boxing is good. I've been boxing for about 10 years now. So, yeah, definitely would like to get a professional boxing match when I'm done with MMA, maybe 1, 2.
Well, again, right now, in MMA, you're doing all the disciplines. So if you're concentrating on just boxing, it seems like the effort you're putting in, you're going to be able to do that. Is that your mindset that if you're 100% training for boxing, that you'll be pretty good?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I went to Mayweather's gym, and those guys, I'm training with his dad and everybody who trained Floyd, and they got nothing but world champions in the gym, Olympians and stuff like that. And that's the thing. The coach is like, hey man, if you actually put some time into it, it's like a month, man, you can beat some legit boxers. Just have to put the time in. But yeah, if I'm specifically focusing on boxing, yeah, I can do it.
Again, as you said, you're from the north side of Wilmington. I mean, do you ever look back and see and think about how far you've come? As you said, you are a celebrity. You're more than just a local celebrity in Wilmington. Do you think about that often? And again, think about, the role model that maybe you are to some kids around Wilmington and elsewhere?
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, that's what I'm supposed to do. I feel like I give you the perfect analogy. Some people are like, oh man, you're the best dad. You go beyond. I'm like, hey, that's what I'm supposed to do. So like, it feels like that's what I'm supposed to do. I know people don't awfully embrace it and feel like, hey, I'm not a role model. Forget your kids. I don't have to do this, but I feel like that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm a Christian guy, and that's myself as a personality. But it's okay to be yourself, joke, laugh. You don't have to be perfect, and still, live the life you want to live.
How often do you go around and talk to kids as a group like that about that message? Again, talking with you here, I mean, you've got some great messages that you don't often hear from celebrities or athletes. And, do you talk to them often?
Yeah, when I have time, I haven't in a while just because my schedule's been so strapped. You lucky you got an hour of my time today. I'm like, I cannot find like 30 minutes in a day. Like when I get home, I sit down, I play video games for about an hour. That's like my mental time to like unwind, relax. But yeah, my time is like crazy right now. So like when I finish one task, I'm on to another.
Yeah, we appreciate your time because this has been a couple of weeks or maybe months getting this interview in. Yeah, how much are you traveling? Is that part of it as well, that you're traveling and you know that's got to be tough for you to be away from your family during that time as well?
Yeah, I travel here and there, but I really travel for the extent whenever I do my training camps down in South Florida. So yeah, like I said, I'll go down there for like 4 or 5 weeks before a fight, go to the fight, and then I come home. But the focus, I mean, life is about sacrifices. You know, you can't get good things in life if you don't sacrifice something. So yeah, we figure, we're not the youngest guy, so we got to make all these fights count. So I mean, all these fights count. So yeah, definitely putting in the time and dedicating the time.
You mentioned, let's go back a second. You mentioned playing video games. You're playing video games with your sons, or is that what you're doing to unwind a little bit?
Yeah, I just play with myself. They're 6 and 3, so they're not quite on the Xbox level yet. I mean, they play their little on their iPads and stuff like that, but not the video games I'm playing.
Are you a Madden guy? Unfortunately, John Madden just passed away this week. Are you a
Yeah.
Madden guy?
No, I used to be heavy on Madden when I can like moss everybody, when I could just throw like a 90-yard bomb to the house. But yeah, no, I used to play Madden 24/7 and a little bit of 2K. I mostly play like Fortnite. That's my game.
Fortnite's your game right now.
Yeah.
What else do you remember about Madden? Were you playing against friends? Was there a lot of trash talking going on playing Madden?
Oh, for sure. That was the college game. Like when I was in college, we played Madden. That's it. I used to like play with the Vikings, and Randy Moss is pretty much unstoppable in that game.
Well, again, we're almost done here, but certainly thank you for your time. Getting ready, February 12th. What are your keys? What are your keys, do you think, in that fight against Cannonier to try to get to the championship fight after that?
Just being myself, just doing what I've been doing the last couple fights, adding to that, being in good shape, and just having fun and staying authentic to what I do.
So how much more training do you have? How much are you training per day, I guess, to get ready for that fight?
Twice a day. That's every single day, except for I take Sunday off.
What kind of things are you doing during that time?
So we're doing a little bit of everything: wrestling, kickboxing, Muay Thai, jiu-jitsu, conditioning, weights, wrestling, everything. So we just break it down into certain things on certain days.
Again, being from Wilmington, you feel like this city's got your back, and you got a good core of fans here and folks that support you, ready to cheer you on and ready to see you get a shot at the title.
Oh yeah, for sure. My hometown supports me. Obviously, everybody always wants more, but yeah, we're in the right spot. We doing. Some people say, man, I'm more famous in other parts of the world than I am in Wilmington. And so that's kind of the joke. But yeah, it is what it is. I'm walking around town and people stopping me, 2 or 3 times. Sorry, you with your family? Can I get a picture? So yeah, I mean, Wilmington showed me love for sure.
Yeah, Wilmington is a big-time sports town. A lot of people coming through this town, and again, you're a big part of that currently right now as well. And Derek, again, we appreciate your time. We wish you the best of luck, and hope you're going to get a shot at that title here coming up this summer. And certainly, we'll be rooting for you as well.
Thank you.
All right. Well, again, my thanks to Derek for joining us, taking a time out of his very busy schedule, as you could tell, to join us and chat about his career a little bit. MMA and UFC, his fight coming up February 12th. Check that out if you can. Our thanks as well to Warrior MMA and also Brunson MMA and Fitness in Wilmington for some of the video that we showed you earlier in the episode. We thank you for joining us once again. If you like what you're seeing, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got more great guests ahead for you in the front row with Mike Vaccaro. Another episode coming soon. Have a great day, everybody.